Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, is co-sponsoring this discussion. So thank you very much, John and Ocha. Sitting next to him, we have State Minister from Bangladesh for Foreign Affairs, Hassan Mahmood. Mr. Mahmood, thank you. From Ghana, Chief Advisor to former President John Kufuor, Mary Chinery-Hesse. Mary, thank you. And Secretary General of ASEAN, Surin Pitsuwan. What I'm hoping to do is to give the floor to each of our eminent panelists for about 5 minutes or so to kick this discussion off, to talk about their particular experience. We're then going to have a general discussion, me and them, but I'm no expert, I'm a journalist. That's just the beginning of what we hope will be a wider discussion in which every one of you will take part. We're a small group, which means we can have a proper discussion. You don't have to wait to put your hand up and wave desperately from the back. We will definitely get to you. So, enough of me. I'm going to hand over to someone who knows a great deal about the impact of cyclones, and that is, from Bangladesh, State Minister Hassan Mahmood.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank the Global Humanitarian Forum for the initiative to present the Bangladesh perspective on the challenges of population displacement as a consequence of climate change. Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina, was invited to this important event. However, due to preoccupation with the relief and rehabilitation program after Cyclone Isla in Bangladesh and due to budget session in the Parliament, she could not come, and she has asked me on behalf of her to present the case of Bangladesh, to share the experience of Bangladesh. Cyclone Isla was another wake-up call about the unpredictability of natural hazards. Despite its low magnitude, the damaging storm had breached our coastal embankments, causing widespread damage, waterlogging, and displacement of people. Cyclone Isla shows that disasters continue to be a major factor for displacement and migration. As climate change increases, the frequency and intensity of natural hazards, the number of displaced people will definitely on the rise. People in the least developed countries and island states would be affected first and worst. Madam Moderator, 2009 is turning out to be the year of conferences on climate change, and for good reason. Expectations around the Copenhagen conference in December are building up. We see this forum as an important milestone in the lead up to that conference. We thank CHF for taking this timely initiative. The facts on the ground, especially in my country, are indicative. We are already feeling the heat of the climate change. In Bangladesh, we are seeing more and more displacements due to unpredictable and severe climate events. While these movements are confined within the national boundaries, a failure to support us in addressing this challenge urgently with adequate resources, sharing of technologies, and long-term international cooperation would result in large number of environmental refugees in desperate situation. Bangladesh has been identified as a high-risk country in the world map of natural disasters. Climate change has heightened the vulnerability profile. The projected sea level rise of 1 meter will have millions on the move, and if sea level is risen by 1 meter, about 19% of Bangladesh, 19% area of Bangladesh will be underwater. And if the population of Bangladesh is not increased further, then 30 million people will be displaced. Definitely population will be increasing in future years. While we call for sustained management and assistance on the part of the international community for finding long-term durable solutions, we are also doing the best we can do to enhance capacity and improve response. For us, risk reduction, mitigation, early warning, post-disaster recovery, and reconstruction are everyday priorities. We have coped with this disaster for decades. Our people may be vulnerable, but their resilience is acclaimed all over the world. Our national disaster management framework involves all tiers of the government, from the National Council headed by the Honorable Prime Minister to the union and village level communities. We have a comprehensive disaster management program with the standing orders on early warning and emergency management. Partnership with the affected communities, volunteer network and civil society are crucial to the success of our inventions. The result of all this investment was clearly evident in the aftermath of the Cyclone Sidr. While similar category 4 cyclones have resulted in hundreds of thousands of deaths in the past, this time during the Cyclone Sidr, the casualty numbers are over 3,000 only. Property and infrastructure damage was contained through coordinated and timely action by government, local authorities, and volunteer networks. From these experiences, we have taken few key lessons for improving our response capacity further. First, strengthening early warning dissemination at the community level and designing the warning system in a way so that this warning system is understandable by the illiterate people in the rural areas of Bangladesh. Second, enhancing community empowerment and resilience, including involving women in greater numbers. Third, reducing risk factors. And fourth, in the past, we had the understanding we could prevent natural disaster, but now we have realized it is not possible to prevent the natural disaster. Now the attitude and the planning, how to live with the natural disaster, how to live with the natural calamities. And finally, the coordination of emergency response. Overall, we have learned that our response capacity must shift its focus from relief and rehabilitation to risk reduction. Madam Moderator and the panelists, lessons learned in the context of Bangladesh would certainly be helpful to others who are vulnerable to climate change and natural disasters. But as a country in the front line of climate change-related hazards, what we have learned may not be enough for us in the long term. Bangladesh has no option but to prepare for this inevitability. Millions of environmental refugees would certainly create a situation for us where our scarce resources would have to be diverted for poverty reduction and development efforts to their resettlement needs. At the national level, the government has initiated a process of dialogue within the country involving stakeholders and UN system and IOM in order to devise a long-term strategy. However, this is a daunting challenge, one that cannot be addressed and implemented without support and sustained engagement from the international community. As has been noted in a recent report on this subject, climate-related migration and displacement can be effectively addressed only if they are recognized as global concerns rather than local crises. We therefore propose that there is a need for creating a framework, possibility within the UN, that would bring together the vulnerable countries, donors, international organizations and civil society and develop modalities for assistance to countries with higher risk. I believe the time has come to think of establishing a group of climatically vulnerable nations, CVN, to be recognized by the United Nations on the basis of their climate hazard risk level and need for priority assistance. This could be a first step towards generating concrete assistance initiatives to help these vulnerable countries. Ladies and gentlemen, the planet is the lifeboat for human in the universe.